Hey guys, it's Maymay and my new Gemini II. Now it's new to me, it's been on the market a little while. I got to see it in action when we were in Ohio at Creativation, and I'm super excited to have it. Now today is basically a first look. I have not played with it outside of the one time we did in Ohio, so we're just gonna play together, all right? So taking out of the package, the first thing is the Gemini II. It's a pretty big piece of equipment, and we're gonna do a walk around on it in just a few minutes. The next thing I want you to see that's important is the user guide, okay? Now I know these user guides can be intimidating, but I wanna tell you something. There are 5 languages in this catalog, okay? So let me show you. Because of that, this is all you need for English, okay? There's one more page in the back that is English translation, and that's about your warranty. But right here, that's all you need. So don't let this intimidate you. I know a lot of times we'll put this aside or we don't want to read it. I think it's imperative that you read these pages. And in some places you'll have to, because it's going to give you your sandwich information for what to run through the machine. So just know it's not as scary as it looks. Another thing I love about the user guide is they gave us notes, a note section. This is going to be perfect for us, okay? All right, the other thing that comes with your machine, inside your user guide book, you'll find this card that says, don't forget to register your Gemini II. I think this is crucial, okay? This says, create an account for your Gemini II to extend your warranty from 12 months to 24 months. Go register it. It's a good idea. It gives you the address, the web address, and you just go over there and do that. So make sure you do that. We're gonna do ours too. I rarely do that, but I'm going to. I usually register like my Cricut machines and stuff, but I'm definitely gonna register this one. It's kind of an investment, you know? All right, the other thing that's really cool is this catalog they give you. It's a core product catalog. I'm gonna show you the products that are available to go with it, but if you get this machine, you don't get every single thing that's available, so this will show you that. And then, even better, so in this cute pink envelope, this is an invitation to the club. Now, I'm not gonna show you my membership card inside because it may have some private numbers on it, so give me just a second. What I do want to show you here is that this club starts October 1, and it says there's usually a £50 charge to join, but because you purchased the machine, this comes with it. So I would go sign up for this club because they're going to give you all kinds of inspiration and ways to use the machine and probably some support. I would think that'd be a good way to join, so make sure you do that. So what the machine comes with are these plates, and we're going to run through them really quick. This is your rubber embossing mat. This one is your plastic shim, your metal cutting plate, your magnetic mat, and 2 plastic cutting plates. Now what I love about these is their size, 9 by 12.5. It makes the world your oyster. You know what I'm saying? You can put anything on here. Now let me show you what it didn't come with. 2 plates that we picked up that it didn't come with. This one, that is for cutting fabric, so it's a cutting plate for fabric, and this is a 2-pack when you pick this one up. And then this one, which is for cutting double-sided dies, which by the way, that's new to me. I'm gonna be doing the research for you guys and we'll figure that all out. Now it also did not come with this, but this is available. This is the 360 turntable, and I think this is the game changer. We're gonna put this on, let me show you how this works. But this is the turntable that you connect to the machine so you can spin it, and I think that's gonna be great. Let's look at the machine itself, okay? So this door opens on the front, and you see it lays out like this, and you turn it around. I don't have my little spinner plate on yet. We'll put that on in a minute. And this door opens as well. So your plates feed through here. Isn't that beautiful? Now, one thing I really, really love, let me show you this at the top. I'm not sure why I love it, but I super love it, and it's this storage section. I think I'm gonna love having like bone folders or even pokey tools and things like that in here. So you have this nice storage section, but also right here, you have a spot to put like your iPad or your phone or anything, any technology you want to put here. And that's going to come in handy in just a second. So here you can see I put my iPad into the little slot. You could use your phone. What's cool about that is you can watch a video while you're working. So that'll be cool, right? Or if you're just working and you just want entertainment, you can do that as well. Now, what I really, really love, I'm going to say that a lot in this video, I'm afraid. If you look down here on the bottom, you have 3 USB ports. So basically, it can also be a charger for your technology while you're using it too. That's awesome, right? I love, anytime I have another charger somewhere, that is good for me, okay? Here is where your power cord goes in. You'll notice it's a 3-prong cord, and this is your on and off switch. So it just flips that way, okay? And those are found under, so if you can't see them, like if you open the door and can't find them, they're underneath. Okay, so if you've never used one of these before, it's an auto feed machine. What that means is you put your plates in, it recognizes them, and it pulls them through. But here you have a couple of buttons. There's a pause button, so if you want to pause it and then start it again, you can do that there, and a reverse button. And you'll be surprised. We use that reverse button sometimes, especially if I'm super lazy and I don't want to turn it around. I'll let the plate go through and then hit reverse and it brings it back to me. But also, if you want to do something twice, if you're using glitter paper, something a little heavier, sometimes I found I have to do that. Now that's with my regular Gemini. I don't know about with this guy. And also your regular power button is right there. All right, let's install our spinner plate on the bottom. So this is the spinner plate, and you guys have probably seen something like this before. It's kind of like a Lazy Susan, right? And it's got feet here on the bottom. And do you see when you twist this just a little bit, it exposes the little holes on the side? That's what's going to connect to the machine. It comes with a screwdriver. This is my favorite thing. I don't have to go hunt a screwdriver to do this. And all of the screws, okay? Pretty simple installation. You're just going to line this up to the holes, and we will screw those in. Get your partner to help you out. You can hold one and they can screw that in. Everybody has a partner in their crafting, right? Everybody has a Shannon? I'm just assuming they do, right? Honestly, if you turn this guy up on its top, you could do this with no help. All right, something worth noting here. The screws are just being screwed into plastic. There's not like a channel with threads inside, so you're going to be making your own threads there. So it was a little bit awkward. I thought there would be something in there to catch the screw, but there wasn't. So you have to put a little pressure on it. And this little guy's a little uncomfortable in your hand, so you might want to put like a cloth around it. Just a warning, or get someone else to do it. My hands are a little bit weak, so if you have someone with stronger hands, a teenager or something like that, it would work a lot easier. All right, so now we've got our spinner on. Let's check out how it works. So first thing I noticed already is the little feet are very grippy, and I like that. I was afraid it would slide a good bit, and this is on my wooden table, and it's sitting really firm. And look, with that little piece, you can do this. Now, you're going to have a cord attached, okay? So you'll want to consider that when you're putting it in its home, wherever it's going to live, because even though you can spin it, you're not going to get full 360 motion all the way around because of your cord. You do have to have that. So we're going to plug her in just like this and turn it on for the first time. So the green light is on. It is ready to go. Let's try out some cuts. Okay, so here's the deal. I have a quilt project coming up and I have to cut a bunch of circles. And I thought I want to see if I can use my dies to do this. And because I have the fabric cutting plates, that's what we're going to try first, which is unusual for me. We usually do paper first. And I want to see if this will work. Now, I'm not using a special die. It says I need a multimedia die, I think is the name of it. I don't have that. I'm just using one of my regular ones to see if it'll work. So I have the plastic plate, I have a metal cutting plate, the one for fabric, okay? Then I have my plastic shim, and then I have my cutting plate, and I'm gonna nest these together, and I want you to see this. This is kind of cool, okay? It says to place it in, and as soon as you feel it take it, release it. Do you see that? There was no pressure. I didn't push, I didn't have to force, and I have to do that with my Gemini. I have to force it through. This one just said, let me have it, right? Now, hold your mouth right and hope it cuts, y'all. Because if it does, it's going to make my quilt project super fun and easy. All right, regular die. This was the postage edge die. And if I pick this up, look at that, y'all. And it cut 2 because I layered it too thick. And this would, not TOO thick, TWO thick. And this would have done more, I think. Should we try 4 of them and see if it'll cut 4? Let's try it. Remember, regular old die. This is just a postage edge circle. Okay, so Shannon was reading in the book, and apparently, if you're going to use the multimedia dies, you do need these extra plates because apparently with them, you need to use 2 of them. It comes with 2, but what I'm doing, I'm just using 1. I'm kind of just cutting a die, you know, but I'm using fabric instead of paper. But this fabric, and I want to show you this is super thin fabric, okay? You can see through it, it's so thin. So I don't know what it might do with thicker fabrics, but we're going to see if it'll cut 4. I'm not sure this blade is deep enough for 4, let's be honest. But let's try it. Let me try it so you don't have to. Oh, it also said if you are going to use this for fabric and the multimedia dies, it suggests getting separate plates for that. So have some that are just for fabric, not separate everything, just the white plates. I love that. I love that. Oh, it kind of buckled down.
But it went.
It went. I'm shocked. It will send it back to you. We've seen it do it. You guys, it cut 4 pieces of that thin fabric. Look at this, you guys. How good for quilting, for applique, for piecing. And this is not even the dies you're supposed to use. I'm sure I will have to get a collection of multimedia dies. All right, we started with fabric. Y'all just want to see paper. Let's do it. All right, you guys, so let's try cardstock. So I have a plastic plate, the metal shim, the material to be cut, my dies cut side down. I'm going to then add my plastic shim, which this is what it suggests in the book, okay? Now, I will say this. You don't have to put the metal shim in there. I want it in there because I don't want to cut into my plastic plate until I have to. I'm sure at some point in time I will have to, but I'm just trying to hold off. So I added the metal shim. I'm going to put the magnetic plate on top and then the plastic plate on top of that. And then we're going to send this through. And this is my favorite part. You just do that. Like, there's no pressure. I didn't press anything. Now here's what I will tell you. There is some pressure, and that is in this machine. It is the pressiest. There's so much pressure you're gonna see when I take this out. So if I lift this off, that's taking off the magnetic plate into my plastic plate. Let's take off this plastic shim, which everything is very staticky, and I don't know if that's just new product. It probably is just new product. But look at this. Look at these guys. All of these cut at one time. And you know what I love about this? This is almost an entire die set I just cut in one pass. I want to show you. There was only one die from this set I did not cut. So from this set, this is the only one I couldn't fit on there. Isn't that something? That's the game changer with this guy, is being able to cut so many dies at one time, especially if you're doing, you know, mass producing of cards, or you're making something for, you know, that you need a whole bunch like me with card making and what's it called? As many as? I couldn't think of the word. With as many as, this would be really handy. But look how much pressure. You can see those dies in there so much, because this guy really, really has a lot of pressure behind it. Now, when I was reading in the book earlier, it said the way you adjust the pressure is by the plates. So there's no setting or anything for you to come in here and change the pressure in the machine, but you just make sure you put the right plates in. All right, so that was a not intricate die. Let's find an intricate die and cut it. Okay, the most intricate dies I could find. This is pretty intricate, but look at these. I want to even bring this to camera for you to see it. It's teeny, teeny, tiny, little tiny snowflake, a star, and a little package. Let's cut those out and see how good it does. Now, one thing I suggest, because they are so big, is go ahead and square them up flat. If you lift them up, the dies can shift inside, so just square them up flat. And then these are our intricate dies. Let's see how it does. Something I need to mention that you've probably already put into the comments, because I'm a little late telling you. I forgot, these are also storage drawers. Aren't they great? So there's one here, and on the other side, let me turn it this way so you can see. That is also a storage drawer. Isn't that awesome? The cool thing about it is this. You know how I told you that you do have the cord to deal with? So if you have it facing you like this and the cord is over here to the side, if you want to turn it around while it's cutting, it's really not bad. It's just kind of a forward and back motion, but you're not going to be able to spin it 360 degrees. Can you see those tiny letters? I mean, they are teeny tiny. They fell out of that die like they were nothing, like that was no big deal. And let me show you this. Now, I didn't lay these any specific way. I just threw them up there on the page. But look at this. I'm going to bring it super, super close to you. Do you see those tiny lines it cut? And what I love about it is when I went to get the little pieces out of the sleigh, all I had to do was kind of go flick, and they just fell out just like that. That's amazing. And then look at these little guys, all cut. They're still in there, but I'm going to take one out so you can see it. Look at that tiny little guy. He is teeny, teeny, tiny. Do you see those tiny little bows? Those little loops, the inside loops fell out so easy. That is so tiny, and it is so well cut. That's amazing to me, because I can struggle with that sometimes depending on my die cut machine. The other thing you're here for, embossing. Now, this is a regular embossing folder, not a 3D. We're going to do a 3D also. But this says that if you want to do a regular embossing folder, you're just going to use a cutting plate and a cutting plate, and that is it. So I'm hoping this is the case, because that will be the easiest embossing I've ever done. All right, you guys, let's unveil it and see what we get. Well, how about that? It did it. That is the easiest ever. I'm always trying to figure out a sandwich and figure out what to put in for my regular embossing plates, and so many of embossing folders, I should say, and so many of you have the regular embossing and not the 3D. Look how perfect. All right, let's try 3D. Now for the 3D embossing folder, it says white plate, embossing folder with the material inside. the magnetic plate, and the plastic shim. That's pretty much what I do in my regular Gemini, so let's see how this works. It did not like that. Did you see that? So I'm going to take this off, the plastic plate, and try it with just the magnetic shim and see what that does. That worked just fine. That, I might even go a little firmer, maybe put another shim in. Let's try adding one more shim. So I'm going to try the white cutting plate. I'm going to try the metal shim, my 3D embossing folder with material inside, and then I'm going to try my magnetic shim on top of that. I can't always use that plastic shim in my machine. Sometimes I have to edit it like this. Not a big deal. I just want a really good deep emboss. And I will also tell you that I am not using a Crafter's Companion embossing folder. This is a Sizzix folder, so I'm mixing up the brands, and that is better. I do like that better, but I think we might could do even better. Hang on. Okay, for this one we're going to do a little different. We're going to do white plastic plate, metal shim, 3D embossing folder with my material inside, and the plastic shim. I don't know, it may not feed through, but I want a little more pressure than I was getting, so let's try. It doesn't love it. Nope, it didn't do it. That's okay, and look, I love that it automatically sends back out and I don't have to grab it. But you just need to play around. Now, I did read in the book that sometimes you might have something that's just a little more intricate and you can add like a piece of cardstock as a shim. So again, these are not Crafter Companions dies. I've told you that before. I'm using my own die here. But the ones that did do, they're pretty good. And some of you guys always mist your paper first, so you probably even get a better result if you do that. I'm just not a paper mister, but if you are, you could try that too. Now, there was one other question that I know is going to be asked that I want to show you. You're probably wondering if you can send these backwards, like both ways, but you can't. The little garage door doesn't open that way. It only opens this way. Final first impressions, let's say that, because this is the first time I played with it. I feel like it's a lot like my original Gemini in that I'm going to have to use my plates differently for my own media. That's okay. You just play around and see what works for what, and then when you figure it out, just make notes of it, and you'll know what to run through with what embossing folder and die, etc. It did great with dies, and we used the sandwiches it said in the book. They were great. It's embossing folders that I typically have to edit, okay? The other thing I love is this kind of intuitive feed through where I just put this in and it just, there's no pressure. You don't even do anything. Your hand just sits there to support it, and I love that feature. Shannon loves, I know, because we did this at Creativation, she loves the spinny part because it does make things easier. I will tell you this is a pretty big machine. It's going to take up a pretty good footprint. Not terrible, but pretty good. So our plan is to get a rolly cart and put it on that cart, and then when it's in use, we'll roll it over and plug it up, and when it's not in use, we'll roll it away, and then it could spin all the way around on that cart, you know. But it's a beautiful piece. It really is beautiful. I mean, if you want to buy something because it's pretty, but if you want to buy something because it's functional, how about 9 by 12.5 inch cutting space? We're just getting started. Let me and Shannon see what it does for us. But we do have a few of these in store, not many. I didn't bring in a bunch. I feel like this is not for everybody, but for those of you that it is for, it's definitely for you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that first look at our Gemini II. You'll see more of it. Don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a like if you did enjoy it. And until next time, bye now.